The lands between are full of mysteries. I have solved several on this journey so far. The tickling in my mind, the missing part of a medallion, the bloody fingers who hunt me, and their leader. Every time I believe I find the answer to one, several more questions appear. Is what I am doing wrong? What lies in the blizzard? And where does the cocoon sitting in front of me lead? A knight named Letta told me the hand reaching out from it would lead me to the demigod Miquella in the Land of Shadow. Where is the Land of Shadow? Why has Miquella gone there? What does Miquella want? What does Mohg have to do with this? All these questions swirl in my head, and I am drowning in the whirlpool. There is only one way to find the answers I seek. I reach my hand out to touch the withered arm, and everything fades. When the shadows fade, I find myself standing in a small patch of land surrounded by stone cliffs. Golden wheatgrass covers a path before me, and large rocks are strung about. Ahead of me, there is an opening in the cliff face. Next to the opening is a stone lantern pillar that emanates light. The lantern shines upon carved stone steps entering the opening. I approach the stairs to see natural light coming into the pathway. I climb these stone steps, and as I approach the top, the stairs end, leaving only the dirt path below. When I come to the top of the hill, I can see off into the vast landscape. All around me is a field that stretches with a golden wheat-like grass growing across it. To the left, on the horizon, I can make out the shape of ancient ruins obscured in fog. To the right of them stands a large castle obscured by the fog. An even larger castle towers above it, making the smaller castle seem even smaller. Behind that castle, stretching into the heavens, is the magnificent Erd Tree, making everything else seem minuscule in comparison. There is, however, something different about the Great Erd Tree. The large golden Erd Tree that towers over everything as a beacon of the sun is now blackened with shadow, and the only sign of gold is the cracks in the bark that leak a golden sap. The once beautiful and divine golden tree now appears as a weakened shadow. The view of the Erd Tree steals my breath, and I notice something strange. The sky above the tree is obscured with a translucent and cloth-like drapery illusion. There appear to be 6 of them, each starting in a circular pattern at the top of the tree and stretching outwards across the horizon. It reminds me of the cloth formation hanging in Queen Marika's chamber. Could she have something to do with this place? It seems almost like this drapery is casting this land into shadow. I see a grace on the ground nearby. I approach it and sit to get my bearings. When I stand up from the grace, I look at the great distance that I must travel, and I summon Torrent to aid me. We travel through the field and come to a dirt path. We travel this path through some ruins scorched by flame and continue down the path. As I ride down the path, I notice a gigantic stone door entrance on the side of a mountain. Near it, I see a dead tree hanging over the path, and at the foot of the tree, I see a golden symbol sticking from the ground. The symbol appears as a large golden pole sticking from the earth, and at the top, it stabs through a mostly full circle with a 5th missing from it. Curious, I make my way closer to the symbol, and notice 2 people standing next to the symbol. One wears golden Spartan-like armor, with a large fur cloak hanging from their shoulders. I speak with this soldier, and they tell me that their name is Freya, and they once fought alongside General Radahn. She then asks if I have spoken to the other person standing at the cross, and that he has a map to the other crosses. These crosses are Miquella the Kind's footprints. I then approach the golden sigil that Freya called a cross, and it has a message. Carved words coalesce. They read, "I abandon here, the first of the flesh of my body." If these words were left by Miquella, does this mean Miquella is trying to shed his mortal body similar to Ranni? I approach the other person standing here. Their face is covered by rope, and a torn black cloth is draped across their body. I speak with this person, and he says, since I am another chasing Miquella's footsteps, then we are aligned in our purpose. But my kind is not forgiven. The Erdtree is his people's enemy due to Marika's betrayal long ago when she burned away his people. He believes Miquella's apologies, but even so, he will never be able to see my kind as worthy. He then says he has a duty to keep, and then gives me a map to the crosses and urges me to follow Miquella. The map shows a cross nearby. If I follow this path through the stone doorway, then I will find another one. So I summon Torrent, and we ride down this path. We ride down the dirt path, and the stone doorway looms overhead as we ride into it. The dirt path leads to carved stone steps with spiral stone pillars standing nearby. Riding up the crumbling stone steps, I can see the cross I seek. Riding up to it, I see 2 more people at this cross. I read the cross, and it shows the same message as the other. I abandon here, part of the body of my flesh. I then approach the man standing next to the cross. He wears a black robe with a red brooch pinning a black cape across his shoulders, and a dark metal helmet sits upon his head, a white beard protruding from the bottom. The man says that I must be the Tarnished he has been told of, then introduces himself as Ansbach, formerly in the service to Lord Mohg, but now he follows kindly Miquella. His hand is no longer steady like it once was, so he is taken to investigation instead of fighting. He seeks to find Miquella's ultimate purpose. He would rather not volunteer his service to a new master, unless he knows he can be of use. He asks me to tell him if I find any more crosses, and tells me they are akin to Miquella's footsteps, or gravestones of what Miquella has left behind. He assumes that we too wish to know what Miquella is doing here. He is correct, of course, so I will keep an eye out. There is another man sitting nearby, and I approach. He is clad from head to toe in heavy metal armor, and he holds a ceramic pot between his legs. I speak with him, and he says hello there. Together we work for Miquella the Kind. He has found many things. He will then allow you to purchase items from him. If you do, then he will tell you that he enjoys finding things to help people, because things bring joy. This man is more, and he is a gentle and kind soul. From here, I turn to the stone staircase stretching upwards towards the stone door above. I make my ascent up the stairs and push open the heavy stone doors. Inside is another set of stairs leading up. I make my way up the stairs, and a giant arachnid falls from the ceiling. It resembles a disgusting amalgamation between a spider and a scorpion. Killing the spider, I make my way farther into the building. I come to a room with a statue of an omen looking pained and distraught. On either side, there are staircases that curve to a balcony above. Making my way into the room, a swarm of small scorpiders crawl from behind the statue. I slaughter the group, then make my way up the left set of stairs. On the way up, a couple more small scorpiders drop from the ceiling. Taking them out, and one more large one, I exit the structure to find that I am in a city. Tearing my way through the city, I slay shadowmen, both normal and brutish, wielding blades, a couple wielding magic, a warrior in yellow garb wielding 2 blades and wearing a helmet with shaped horns, large birds with blue feathers that spit death magic, another warrior with yellow garb and horned helmet, but this one has a single massive sword. After all of these battles and travel, I come to a stop at a large stone door standing at the highest point in the town. Next to this door sits a sign where I may summon Redmane Freya to join me for battle. Whatever is behind this door is clearly a fight, and most likely a dangerous fight. So I summon Freya to join me for whatever glorious battle may come. With great struggle, I push the doors open, and we enter the theater ahead.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise. Dance and kavod, cleanse all and poet. Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tower. sends away the strumpet's final.
At the far end of the room, a bundle of horns protrude from some animal. The animal begins to lift itself from the ground with human-like hands. As it lifts its head, the hands grab the jaw and open the mouth wide, releasing a bellowing roar and revealing two sets of teeth. One set beast like a lion, and the other resembling humans. As the creature finishes its roar, it looks at us, and its head resembles a lion with a crown of thorns and green glowing eyes. Here we can see human-like legs sticking out from underneath the cloth draping down from the head. Another pair of legs can be seen behind them underneath the red cloth draped across its backside. It seems this creature is actually two persons wearing a costume. And this is the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. The Divine Beast Dancing Lion is a costume worn for the act of the lion dance. Only the finest of horned warriors are allowed to take part in the dance and wear the costume. The dance would only take place when a horn-sent grandam called upon the dance to be done. The dance is meant to call upon the Divine Beast to protect them from any who would do them harm. The beasts would then possess the dance and make them divine. Unfortunately, a force of nature known as Mesmer the Impaler hunted the Divine Beasts to near extinction. He gored them and hung them upon his spear, then burned them to ash in his flame. There are only a couple of divine beasts left in this world. This is one of two that remain. Both the beast and the divine can be seen in the movements and attacks that the creature does. Every attack is ferocious and yet elegant. It lunges forward with wild gnashing bites. It flies in a loop to smack with its lower half to ragdoll enemies. It chomps the air and lunges with its head sideways to tear in half. It twirls through the air like a fan, coming to a large crash that sends dust and rubble flying. It spins in a circle, sending out gales of its breath to shove away with intense force. It spews out gales of wind and a stream in front like a dragon. And when it has taken enough damage, it floats into the air with a twirl and roars, sending a yellow shockwave of lightning outwards from its mouth, and yellow lightning begins striking down from the sky. Lightning continues to strike the ground as rain pours from the heavens. The lightning only strikes the ground near wherever the beast moves, causing it to have a ring of lightning strikes around it. The beast continues to chomp and slam, but now it has an aura of lightning projecting from it as its body projects a yellow static. It adds one new attack to its rotation as it leaps into the air, grabbing a yellow lightning bolt from the sky. It slams it into the ground, causing lightning to spread outward from impact. Freya and I continue the grueling fight, and as we injure the creature more, it floats into the air in a twirl again as it roars, sending out a shockwave of blue ice that freezes the rain instantly, turning it into falling snow. Gales of cold wind now rush through this theater as snow continues to fall. The beast no longer has a yellow static aura, but it has been replaced with a blue icy aura as frost falls from the creature. It stomps, and shards of ice stab up from the ground like crystals, piercing the flesh and leaving a lasting chill that freezes the blood. Every movement now creates these crystals stabbing us as it moves. The cold pierces our flesh, but Freya and I hold strong, continuing to damage this beast that controls storms. Despite the cold, we manage to damage the beast enough for it to float into the air once again with a twirl. As it roars, it releases a shockwave of winds that cause the snow to cycle around the theater in a horizontal and circular pattern. The cold is gone, but now winds push against our movements and a light fog covers the arena. Once again, the aura surrounding the beast is replaced. It no longer creates ice crystals and sheds frost, but now a constant gale spins around the beast like a weak tornado, causing staggers with every movement. It now has a new attack, where it floats into the air in a whirlpool, causing a tornado to be created, then swiftly sending it across the ground towards its targets. It chomps down, grabbing me in its teeth, and begins to swing me around violently, tossing me into the air above its head, catching me and throwing me to the ground with a slam. Despite the inflicted pain, we managed to continue this fight with the beast, leading to one last flight into the air. This roar sends out a shockwave of ice once again, but with fierce gales blasting the cold in every direction. The air is now filled with a blizzard as ferocious gales of wind blast the cold over the land. The beast's aura now creates ice crystals and tornadoes with every movement as it has combined the two in an act of desperation. It roars and creates a tornado of ice wind around it. It spins and spews ice from its mouth like a dragon. It stomps ice and wind, and it gnashes its teeth with ferocity. But despite all of the divine and beast-like attacks, Freya and I endure. With rotation, I attack, then Freya, and with one last strike I swing, and the creature staggers as it falls to the ground, exploding in a shockwave of white dust, thus ending the storm and clearing the skies. With our ferocious battle done, Freya leaves. A doorway in the theater leads to an elevator that I take up. At the top I cross a large stone path to open a large set of stone doors. With great struggle, I push through these doors and start climbing a large stone staircase that curves up and left. Climbing these stairs gives a great view of the Shadow Erd Tree. The contrast to the golden Erd Tree shows as the night sky is colorless without the gold. Nearing the top of the stairs, there is a building structure of some sort, but it appears as though thorns of shadow have grown over the structure. The thorns block the entrance, and a note is on the floor nearby. I pick up the note, see that the note is from Letta, and read it. It says, "The gate of divinity lies in the tower sealed by shadow. That is surely where Miquella is headed. We are no Empyreans, but we must locate the path that will lead us there. I will follow the crosses east." It seems that Letta is searching for a way to rid the shadow. If that is so, then I must find Letta. She probably has some info by now. I will follow in her footsteps and follow the crosses east. I start by returning to the first cross I discovered so that I may speak with Freya.
Ah, well met. That was a fine battle indeed. It heartens me that another warrior stands among us, among the beckoned.
I then ask about the damage to her helmet.
Long ago, I was stricken by scarlet rot in the swamp of Aeonia. Immobile, feverish, and in great pain, I was entirely resigned to death. I was left behind, and only kindly Miquella was good enough to seek me out. My wound was swollen and festering, exuding a most pungent odor, and yet he drained the poison from it, despite my wretched visage. Now, I consider this wound my compass. Let us both take kindly Miquella's guidance to heart. May we meet again on the battlefield, brave warrior.
It seems Freya serves Miquella because he saved her. He truly seems like a kind demigod. If he could save her from the poison of scarlet rot, then maybe he can truly do something about the frenzied flame. I summon Torrent, and we ride towards the next cross's location. The path leads to a great war-torn bridge. We make our way across, avoiding shots from a ballista, and I find that I am now in an encampment. I make my way through the camp and across a stone bridge. A magic-wielding troll guards the bridge. I take him out and continue up the path ahead. On this path, I fight soldiers, guard dogs, and a knight clad in black, wielding a large shield and a massive hammer. This leads me to the cross marked on the map, given to me by the Hornsent. The cross has carved words that read, "I abandon here the flesh of my body." The same message as before. Next to this cross, I find a note. The note is once again from Letta, and reads, "Kind Miquella seeks the tower sealed by shadow, and the Gate of Divinity found there. If we are to reach him, we must burn the tree that seals the path. And for that, we require a flame. Once again, there is a tree that needs to burn to remove thorns. How is Letta expecting to burn this tree? Does Letta have a maiden that she must sacrifice? Or is there some other plan? Putting the note away, I notice the gate is sealed, but there is a path next to the gate that I can drop down to. Dropping down and following this path, I scale cliffs and wade through rapids to climb a ladder that leads me to the lever to open the gate. Opening the gate, then continuing up the path, I have to fight more soldiers, guard dogs, and sorcerers. I come to a building and enter the courtyard to see a carrion knight, just like the one I fought in Raya Lucaria. These knights are only supposed to protect the royal family. What is one doing here? When they see me, they rush at me to attack. This carrion knight wears the traditional armor of the carrion warriors, but what is unusual is the chosen weapon. Instead of the traditional carrion sword, shield, and staff that these knights bring into battle, this one wields the magical colossal sword that the trolls and Renala's army would wield. This knight is no ordinary knight. This knight is Munrathil. Munrathil was once a carrion knight in service to the royal family. She fought alongside other knights and warriors in service to the royal family, including the trolls. Munrathil became a good friend to the trolls, respecting their might and power. They respected Munrathil as well, and granted her one of their swords as a gift. She took this sword and wielded it proudly as she fought arm in arm with her gargantuan comrades. Munrathil also had a very important role as a carrion knight. She was in the personal service to one of the most important members of the carrion royal family. Munrathil was the Twin Moon Knight's chamberlain, and stayed to protect her in the lands of shadow. Munrathil wields the gargantuan sword, which swings slow but hits hard. She has the ability to summon 3 colossal magical blades that float by her head, then hone in on me as they fly through the air and strike in a magical explosion. We fight, trading blows back and forth, and a sorcerer comes to her aid. With some struggle, I manage to defeat them both, and then continue farther towards my goal. I strike down more sorcerers, soldiers, watchdogs, and another knight clad in black armor wielding a large shield and a massive hammer as I make my way through the castle. I take an elevator up, and it leads me into a dining room with wooden tables surrounded by benches, and one wooden table at the head of the room with 3 elaborate wooden chairs sitting behind it. A set of stairs leads up to a balcony. As I ascend them, I notice a doorway covered in a golden fog. Next to the fog is a sign where I can summon Needle Knight Letta to assist me. I summon Letta, and we enter the fog gate. We enter a room where a large pool of water sits in a circle in the middle of the room. It is identical to the moon-gazing pool in the Caria Manor. On the other side of the pool stands a knight in silver armor with blue cloth draped across the body. 2 crescent moons adorn the sides of the helmet. They wield 2 swords that they hold ready for a fight. This is the Twin Moon Knight of the Carrion royal family. R'hllana, the Twin Moon Knight, and sister of Renala of the Full Moon. R'hllana was born a princess of the Carrion royal family. In her childhood, she and her older sister Renala met 2 great moons overlapping as though nestled against one another. These moons resembled the love that the sisters shared for each other, sticking together no matter what may occur. This moment led to them both dedicating themselves to the study of the night sky to create powerful sorceries. The 2 grew together and worked very close until sometime in their adulthood. R'hllana decided that she wanted to follow a man named Mesmer the Impaler. To do this, she would have to disavow her birthright. Despite this, she chose to leave anyways. This decision made Renala sad, but she loved her sister and understood that she felt that she needed to do this. So, she gifted her with a lock of her hair, so that no matter where R'hllana goes, she would always feel her sister nearby. R'hllana fixed this lock to her helmet attaching it as a braid behind the helmet. The sisters said their goodbyes, and R'hllana left for the Land of Shadow. R'hllana joined Mesmer as his knight, and soon became known as the Sword of Mesmer. He gifted her with a sword resembling hers, but with adornments of snakes and fire to represent him. She happily took this gift, and wielded it in perfect balance with her glintstone sword. R'hllana had become an unstoppable warrior. At least, until she met us. R'hllana breaks into a sprint as I enter the room, and I match pace. She slashes down with her left hand, and I guard the impact. I strike with a counterattack as she dashes to get out of the way. She ends the dodge with a slash and stab in an elegant flurry. I roll to recover from the attack, and as I do, Letta slashes R'hllana from behind in a flurry. R'hllana jumps back to gain distance as Letta summons golden lasers that hone in on R'hllana, but strike the air where she was before, as R'hllana summons 3 glintstone blades. Letta rushes towards R'hllana, and the blades pierce her, staggering her for a moment. I rush to meet them as R'hllana side dashes an attack from Letta. She exits her dash with a slash that cuts both Letta and I. We both strike once in retaliation, and R'hllana meets us with a few slashes. As R'hllana strikes me, Letta takes position and cuts R'hllana twice. R'hllana strikes me as I roll, and Letta hits her in turn. I guard her next attack and retaliate with a pirouette of slashes. She whirls her blades, slashing back in response. I gain distance as R'hllana slashes the air, and Letta sends a golden discus of holy light shredding into R'hllana with righteous cuts. The attack stunlocks R'hllana, holding her into place, unable to recover from the spinning disc locked around her. I charge R'hllana with a piercing thrust from my blade as the disc disperses, and she falls to her knees stunned. Letta and I get slashes in, and then I take the opportunity to get a crushing blow in. I stab my blade through her chest, then pull with strength in an arc that removes the blade with great force and resistance, throwing her to the ground. Letta takes this opportunity to strike R'hllana as she is recovering, and I follow suit. She recovers with a slash, knocking me back some as I switch to a guard. She strikes me across the face as Letta strikes her from the side. Letta and I continue this elegant clash of blades with R'hllana for some time. Letta's exceptional skill and our synergy as a team shines through as we take each other's weaknesses and turn them into opportunities for damage. R'hllana is an exceptional enemy. She moves like flowing water, each movement complementing the next attack. Letta strikes R'hllana with an attack from behind that staggers her, and I hit a critical strike. We strike R'hllana as she struggles to stand up. R'hllana stands up and crosses her blades. As she does, Letta sends out a golden disc. As it makes impact, R'hllana slashes forward, sending me flying as her blades erupt with magical energy. The right blade is now covered in a magical glintstone blue aura, and the left is covered in a reddish-orange flame. As Letta's disc disappears, R'hllana dodges around Letta, and Letta summons golden lasers that appear in a circle around R'hllana. The lasers shoot and strike into R'hllana as she comes out of her slide with a set of slashes into Letta. R'hllana takes pose as Letta sends out another golden disc that encircles R'hllana. R'hllana then follows suit, spinning in a flurry of blades that causes a reddish-orange tornado of fire to encircle her and burn Letta. Each spin of R'hllana creates another burst of the tornado, and columns of flame erupt from the ground around the tornado. Final slash sends flame erupting from random spots across the floor, and as I return to the battle, one launches me into the air. I land to see R'hllana charging a Goliath-sized blue glintstone blade above her head. She brings it down with a slam on Letta, and I rush to meet them. As I reach R'hllana, she spins, bringing the blade swiping in a massive circle around her, which strikes me. I come out of the stagger with a slash across R'hllana, and she returns with 2 slashes. She continues to strike me as Letta attacks her from behind. Letta stuns R'hllana, and I rush in for the critical. Letta and I pummel her as she stands, and when she does, she slides out of the attack and pierces my chest. R'hllana continues to attack as I dodge her strikes, and Letta summons golden lasers that blast R'hllana. I get a few slashes in as R'hllana slides away. She comes in with a cross of slashes from her flame blade, and the fire trail explodes, singeing my armor. But I guard through it. I slash R'hllana with a few spins of my blade as she attacks Letta. She then leaps back and floats into the air, summoning 2 large twin moons around her. One drops to the ground, sending out a shockwave of magic across the entire arena as I jump over the devastation. The second moon follows suit, and I jump this one as well. Then, R'hllana crashes to the ground with her magic blades, sending out one last even larger shockwave from a beacon of magical energy. This sends Letta flying backwards as I jump this last wave. Then I race to Rolana. I hit her with 2 slashes, then block her returning blow. I counter with slashes as she continues into her assault. Letta and I continue to endure and attack the magical swordswoman in front of us. She wields magic just as easily as she wields a blade. She is truly a legend of a fighter. With one last golden disc from Letta, Rolana falls to her knees and disperses into dust. With the battle done, Letta leaves. As I continue out of this castle, I wonder if Ronnie had ever known her aunt. And if she did, what would she think of her decisions? I exit the castle to see the much larger castle ahead and a cross sitting just down the path a little. I make my way to the cross. I see the Hornsent and Letta are standing at the cross, and I talk to the Hornsent. He gives me a new map of a cross. He then tells me that Miquella wishes to strip away the Erdtree's sin, and that the crosses are enough proof for him to believe Miquella. He tells me to go to the Shadow Erdtree, and that blood must spill there. I then speak with Letta.
Hello again. Did you meet my compatriots? They're quite the congregation, from places as far and wide as you can imagine. Doubtless they'd have all come to blows at first glance, were it not for the charm kindly Miquella put upon us. This is what allows us to serve together, the work of a living god.
This reveals that Miquella has put a charm on them, and that they are not fully in control of their choices. I then ask about the Hornsent.
Wondering about the Hornsent, are you? True enough. In any other circumstance, he'd be at our throats. Long ago, Queen Marika commanded Sir Messmer to purge the Tower folk, a cleansing by fire. It's no wonder the Hornsent holds the Erdtree in contempt. That aside, man is by nature a creature of conquest, and in this regard, the Tower folk are no different. They were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war, but it's still a wretched shame.
She reveals that Messmer the Impaler once burned away all of the Hornsent's people, and that is why he is so cold. He wants revenge. As I am about to leave, I find a note on the ground that tells me to go to the village of Morth for a duel with a man named Dane, and a gesture to show I am there for a duel. I first head to the cross on the map. After some travel, I find the cross and see someone sitting there. I speak with them, and they reveal that Letta told them of me, and that they are named Tiolier. They reveal that they too are tarnished, and here on Miquella's account. They tell me that they are not good at anything but poison. They then offer me an inventory of poisons that I may buy. Before I go, I read the cross. Carved words coalesce. I abandon here a part of the flesh of my body. Once again, a part of the body was left behind. What even is Miquella at this point? With the cross found, I head for Morth. I approach the ancient ruins of a city to discover Morth. Another cross stands here, and a man stands next to it. This man wears brown priest robes and has wraps around his entire arm. I walk up to him and gesture by pushing my fist into palm. Dane nods, and we move to begin our duel. We move to an open field with him on the other side a few yards away. We begin to walk towards each other and begin to trade blows. A clash of fists and palms back and forth as a showing of great martial training takes place. A battle between two skilled warriors, each trained in a different style of hand-to-hand combat. Where I rely on punches, Dane is an instrument with each limb swapping between punches and kicks. Each attack is quick and deadly. Despite his incredible skill, I managed to defeat him anyways. With our duel concluded, Dane leaves behind martial wrappings, a hat like his, and notes on different ways to fight. I appreciate this lesson and continue on my travels. Torrent and I travel across this land shrouded in darkness for some time. The world is dark and mysterious, with so many directions to go and questions to be found. As I travel, the wind gently rustles the leaves in the trees nearby, and everything seems calm. Suddenly, a loud shattering sound echoes from the heavens, and golden flakes of energy begin to flutter to the ground. The power of a great rune has been shattered, and with it, so too is a powerful charm. This must have been Miquella's rune that has broken, and if that is the case, then I need to speak with Leda and her companions. I remember her mentioning a charm being placed on them. I return to the cross at Rolana's castle to see Leda and the Hornsent still there. I speak with Leda.
Oh, hello. Did you feel it? Miquella the Kind's enchantment appears to have broken. But while my devotion to kindly Miquella remains unchanged, by thy troth I am not so sure about the others. No, wait. Perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. I can wield my sword to cull the undeserving, those unfit to bask in tender Miquella's presence. I should have thought of this earlier.
With the spell broken, Leda has become paranoid and seeks to hunt those she deems untrustworthy. Needle Knight Leda was a member of the order known as the Needle Knights. This order was formed in devotion to the one they worshipped, Miquella the Kind. Leda was the most devoted out of all of the knights that worshipped Miquella. This devotion led her to tracking him to the Land of Shadow to protect her master. Now with the charm gone, Leda's loyalty has not slipped, and she suspects treason among her fellows, and will hunt whoever she believes has fallen to it. I speak with the Hornsent.
Intriguing. What remains there to be said? Do you presume us allies even now? Though Miquella's spell is newly broken, I must profess, the spell mattered little. Uphold his covenant, Miquella shall, and in godhood redeem our rueful clan. Then Marika and vilest Erdtree both will at last be from divinity wrenched, and surely contented I will be. But first, clear resounds the call of vengeance. The Impaler, Mesmer, must pay his due. In vengeance for the flames, my blade I wield. How could I allow myself to forget? Revenge alone assures me peace of mind. Think not to hinder me upon my path, lest you too wish to face the reckoning.
Despite the charm being removed, his mood and ideals have not changed at all. He will still have his revenge, no matter the cost. The Hornsent was once a man who lived in peace. His family, clan, and he lived calm, kind lives. One day, during the crusade, Mesmer the Impaler burned the Hornsent's home to the ground. The flames burned away all of the Hornsent that lived there, including his wife and child. Only one escaped this blaze alive, the Hornsent himself. From that day forward, this man vowed an oath of vengeance on the man who incinerated his people. Mesmer the Impaler would die by his blade. At some point, Miquella met the Hornsent and promised him retribution and a future without pain. The Hornsent was charmed, but it mattered little. He could hear the words of truth in Miquella's voice and chose to follow him. Now with the rune shattered, nothing has changed for him. He will get his revenge, and he will help Miquella ascend. I then leave this cross to travel to the first cross I had discovered. I find that Freya still stands here, and I speak with her.
Oh, there you are. Good. If you happen to see Lady Leda, tell her that I'm striking out on my own. Don't worry, I've no mind to cross any of you. The guidance of kind Miquella remains etched into my very flesh. It's only... there's something that I must know.
I ask what she is looking into.
Wily Miquella spoke of the vow he once made with General Radahn, and it is here the vow shall be honored. I am a Redmane. I must know the nature of the vow.
With the charm gone, her loyalty still lies with Miquella for the kindness he has shown her. But her loyalty to Radahn has her wanting to discover what Radahn was supposed to do here. Freya was once one of the most distinguished knights of Starscourge Radahn, who invited her into his ranks after witnessing her valor as a gladiator. Freya was once stricken by scarlet rot in the Aeonia swamp in Caelid. She was left behind to die alone by her compatriots. While suffering in endless pain, she was approached by Miquella the Kind. He put his lips to her wound and drained the poison from it. In this act, Freya became charmed by Miquella, put under his spell. Eventually, her and her comrades would enter the Shadowlands to find Miquella. When the rune shattered, she was torn. The truth revealed, she was still grateful for Miquella saving her and wants to repay him. But there was also a secret she needed to know. Miquella once made a vow with her former lord, and she wants to know what that vow is. Now she leaves to seek the truth. I then leave this cross for the second discovered cross, to see Ansbach and Mor still here. I speak with Mor.
Don't feel it. It's broken. Kind Miquella's light is gone. But I stand tall. Together, we work. Together. For Miquella the Kind. I don't know what to do. Our mother abandoned her brood. She did not love us. We are her children. What should we do? Must we be sad forever?
I respond to his question, telling him to put it behind him and accept the future.
Maybe that's kindly Miquella's love. Love for all the unloved. Love to banish the pain.
He then tells me,
Oh, I know. Give this to Tiolier. He asked me to find it. I finally found it.
he hands me black syrup for Tiolier. Mor was once a pest who awaited the return of the goddess of scarlet rot. This goddess took form in the power of Melania, Miquella's sister. Unfortunately for Mor, Melania rejected the pests of rot, not wanting this power that she has. Disowned and abandoned, Mor and his forager brood were left without a master. He and his kin wandered aimlessly until at some point Miquella offered them peace. They allied with Miquella, choosing to follow him, and became charmed. Now, with the rune shattered, they are heartbroken and don't know what to do. A kind Tarnished tells them to leave it in the past and forgive. So Mor, with newfound heart, decides to continue living. Mor accepts me as his friend, and I accept him as mine. Hopefully, we can make the future bright. I speak with Ansbach.
Kindly Miquella has discarded his great rune. The fog that vexed my aging faculties has been lifted, and follies better left forgotten haunt me once again. Once, in an attempt to free Lord Moog from his enchantment, I challenged tender Miquella, only to have my own heart rather artfully stolen. I knew not how weak I was. I believed that with sufficient mastery, even an Empyrean would be within reach of my blade. I could not have been more mistaken. Miquella the Kind is a monster, pure and radiant. He wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
Ansbach was once the feared commander of the Pureblood Knights in service to Lord Moog. The Pureblood Knights were the elite of Moog's army. They could defeat anyone they came across. One day, Miquella charmed Moog to force him to do his bidding. Ansbach, in an act to save his master, challenged Miquella to a duel and managed to grievously injure the young demigod. In return, Miquella charmed Ansbach and forced him to become his servant. From here, Ansbach was forced to do Miquella's bidding, and Moog was forced to kidnap Miquella's body from the Halig tree. Now with the rune shattered, Ansbach's mind is free again. He wishes to discover Miquella's plan for his lord before he makes any decisions. But one thing has been revealed. Miquella the Kind is a monster who uses love to shrive clean the hearts of men.
Righteous Tarnished. Miquella the Kind makes my blood run cold. I am loath to admit it. But even at this very instant, I wish to run very far away indeed.
With this disturbing news, I leave this cross for one final one. I arrive at the cross to see Tulia sitting where he has been, and speak with him.
Are you not affected? Even with the spell broken, I'm feeling rather lost. Haunted by memories of Centrina, her visage, her senna, the lure of velvety sleep. Would kindly Mikola chasten me for falling for Centrina, while knowing that she was the discarded half? The problem is, I simply cannot help it. I would sacrifice everything just to gaze upon her one last time.
I then hand him the black syrup.
Oh? What's this? I have to say, Sir Moore has an awfully sharp eye, doesn't he? It's wonderful. This ebony, as lustrous as the night sky unending. I don't think I could ever thank him enough. But I'll have to think of something.
I then ask about the syrup.
Forgive me. You two deserve your share of the reward. I'll mix up something special. If you find yourself weary of the weight of this life, then just give me the word. Sleep is a balm. An eternal sleep is an elixir.
He has gained a poison that can give any creature eternal sleep. Tiolier is an isolated young man whom once met Saint Trina. Tiolier was granted the sweet velvety sleep. Tiolier became obsessed with this sleep and spent the rest of his days trying to find a way to recreate it. This led to him deciding the only way was to become potent with poisons. He has been in search for a means to create the perfect concoction. At some point, he fell into the service of Mikola, and the search became dampened as it was replaced by the charm. Something in Tiolier hung on to this dream and asked Moore to search for the perfect substance. Now, with the rune shattered and the black poison given to him, Tiolier can once again worship his god, Saint Trina, the other half of Mikola, with the power over dreams. Tiolier is obsessed with Saint Trina and regrets that this is so, because he feels it is a betrayal to Mikola. Unfortunately, Saint Trina is Tiolier's true god that he worships. According to Tiolier, Saint Trina was left behind by Mikola. Maybe I can discover the truth of this if I follow the crosses. I leave Tiolier and this cross behind as I seek to follow the footsteps of Mikola. I begin to follow the residual energy from Mikola's footsteps, and it takes me on a journey. I fall great distances using springs of spiritual energy that allow Torrent to follow the height of a mountain without either of us feeling an impact. Through poisonous swamps with putrid green waters that would steal away the force of one's life. Caves with beautiful calm water traveling through them. Jumping from boulder to boulder across a chasm as to not fall to my death far below. Over waterfalls and lakes that pool and stream down mountains. And across a beautiful field of vibrant cerulean flowers that paint the horizon in a hue of night, set in location as a coast surrounded by the blue waters of the ocean. All of this journeying brings me to the next footstep of Mikola, found here in these cerulean fields. I approach the cross and read the words carved into its structure. I abandon here my doubts and vacillation. This message is different from all the others. This one states that Mikola has left behind their doubts and indecision. This means Mikola has made a choice here, and he is ensuring he never questions it again. I find myself becoming concerned. Those without doubts tend to make the worst decisions. What could Mikola be planning that would require such irrational actions? I must continue on this path and discover what Mikola has done. Torrent and I continue to travel to the undiscovered part of this prairie. The blue color of the cerulean coast gives a somber tone and makes me consider if what I am to discover is truly worth finding. Flowers and grass crunch under Torrent's hooves as we find ourselves coming to a hole in the earth. I look into it to see a vast nothingness below. It looks almost as if a meteor had struck and carved a perfect hole into the earth. This is the only direction forward, as the rest of the cliffs lead to the ocean. Miquella must have gone into this massive tunnel, and if that is the case, then I must follow suit. Torrent and I begin to scale our way down, falling from one stone ledge to the next, so that I may descend safely. Down, down, down we travel, deep into the earth. A ledge below becomes a path forward as it stretches into a tunnel. I leave Torrent behind and traverse on foot from here, progressing through this tunnel. The tunnel opens to a ledge, and as I stand on the ledge, I can see an incredibly massive cave that stretches even deeper into the earth. Dozens of massive ships made of stone stick into the dirt, earth, and walls that make the cave. Fog covers the deepest parts, obscuring how far down it truly goes. I continue into the cavern, jumping from ledge to ledge and using the stone ships as bridges to traverse farther into the earth. I approach a stone ledge, and as I stand onto it, it crumbles, causing me to free fall to a lower section far below. I land with a splash as my feet connect with the ground through a puddle. The impact sends pain shooting through my legs, and the air is heavier here. But I push through and continue across the wide stretch of land I have fallen to. The puddle trails down the slope, and I follow this light river path. As I turn a corner, I see a cross sitting down here deep in the earth. The sight is almost a shock to me, as I was starting to doubt that anyone would have been able to truly make this journey. But I suppose Miquella isn't just anyone. I approach the cross and read the message carved into its holy radiance. I abandon here. My love. I am taken aback by the words I read. This is not what I was expecting to find. Miquella the Kind cannot be Miquella the Kind without love. Does this mean Miquella left behind his ability to care? Or could it be something else? Could it mean a person? Could this be referring to Miquella leaving St. Trina behind? Could it be Miquella leaving behind his ability to love so that he may make hard decisions that may hurt people? Could it be both? Could St. Trina be the only person holding Miquella to humanity? Why would Miquella journey all this way to leave behind St. Trina, and why would St. Trina agree to it? The words of Ansbach ring in my head.
Miquella the Kind is a monster, pure and radiant. He wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
Miquella, what could you be plotting? Pushing these fears down, I continue farther into the cavern below. Jumping from one stone ship to the next, and dodging the stone watchers that guard this place as I make my way through. These stone watchers are usually only placed to guard prisoners in places such as Everjails. Whoever is here may be considered a prisoner. I continue by carving through walking skeletons and a living giant ball of sludge, coming to a lion man made from golden energy similar to the illusion of Godfrey that Morgoth made. However, this illusion is no boss, and it falls easily. It must have been guarding something, though. I come to a stone ship larger than any other, and step onto the deck, to see different types of birds and deer all resting peacefully, and all pointed at the helm of the ship. Stairs guide a path up to the helm, and I begin to climb these stairs. I'm not sure what I am to find here, but I feel as though I must be getting to the place I've come to find. I climb these stairs, and at the end is a carving of a bull's head. I walk onto the head and look down to see an endless abyss below. A light purple fog obscures the depth of this cavern. Something inside tells me to jump. This is madness. but I have survived many falls from great heights. I can only hope this will lead me to the answers I seek. I take a leap of faith and step off the head. The wind whips violently around my head as I fall. I look down to see bundles of stone ships below, encircling an opening that can barely be seen through the fog. My trajectory is aimed straight for that opening. I fall for a great distance as fear starts to clutch at my chest. Please, let this be the right choice. I shoot into the opening and land at a splash into a pool of thick, blackened water. Deep purple lilies have grown in patches down here, scattering purple light into the fog here and reflecting off the water. I cautiously begin to trudge my way through the thick liquid, when suddenly a skeleton riding a horse sprints from a cave opening near the end of the cavern. The skeleton has more bones than a normal body, with a very large rib cage. Purple ooze sits as a deformed sphere to create a head with two white lights glowing as eyes. The skeleton carries a half-circle blade held with bones as a handle. The gray horse it rides has a black mane and is missing its eyes, as shreds of skin have grown across it in threads, covering the chasms below. The horse is also missing the back half of its body, as black ooze leaks from the body into the liquid, allowing it to move faster. This skeleton is the putrescent knight with its loyal steed. Across the Cerulean coast, and all throughout the underground cavern, are large ships made of stone. These ships were called stone coffins. These coffins house the remains of impure individuals who were sent off as part of their burial rites. These coffins resemble the culture of ancient civilization from the early days of the Crucible. These coffins sailed the seas and washed up in the lands between on the Cerulean coast. The tainted flesh inside the coffins putrefied into a foul substance resembling a liquid. This substance is known as putrescence. Over a long period of time, many coffins began to accumulate in the crater below the earth. Here they began to leak, and their contents became a pool where St. Trina's lilies grew aplenty. After Mikola left this place, it became imbibed by the nectar of St. Trina and coalesced into the putrid night. The knight now stays here, guarding its pool of putrescent liquid, stopping any who may try to explore it, which includes me. The knight is a difficult foe. It launches off from its horse in a slam, and then spins in a circle, sawing with its blade. When it does this, the horse dissolves into the pool and reappears elsewhere to charge in a straight line like a bull before reappearing below the knight. It slams its sword down like a hammer to crush any under the weight of the dense bones. It swipes in a slash to cut any it passes. It grabs both handles and slams it down like a knife to chop in twain. The horse neighs, sending a shockwave to knock down foes, and then sprints to gain distance, coming to a stop as the knight throws the blade like a boomerang as it strikes, then returns to the knight. The horse pulls a great mass of putrescence beneath it, lifting them into the air, and the knight sends out a stream from its chest that are set ablaze in a wave with a frozen flame as they make contact with the pool spreading out from source as it sprays 3 times. The knight does a smaller version, where it doesn't lift very high, sprays out farther, and the flame travels back towards it in a line. The knight uses its strength and home turf to its advantage, ensuring it has the upper hand. And yet, with great effort, it is still felled by my blade, bursting into a white dust. Alone in this pool, I make my way towards the cavern the knight came from. This liquid has streamed into this cave, but only a small amount lies on this path. As I approach the end of the cave, I can see a deep purple light and fog. I enter this pocket cave to see the putrescent liquid has pooled in a garden of St. Trina's lilies, and standing in the center of the cave is St. Trina herself. St. Trina is an enigmatic and fleeting individual who is said to appear in dreams. While they are generally thought to be a young boy or girl, St. Trina is sometimes depicted in an adult form that is said to be unnerving to look at. St. Trina's nectar is said to be such a potent poison that it could put anyone or thing into an unending sleep. For this reason, many came to worship St. Trina and search for them in their dreams. St. Trina and Miquella the Kind have been bound together for their entire lives. Together, they make both sides of a coin. Miquella the Kind has always been a caring demigod who looked out for all those from all walks of life and helped those persecuted. St. Trina has always been a caring god who offered kindness and good sleep, but was always careful, as too much could mean unending sleep. Miquella always tried to protect everyone, but St. Trina was there to protect Miquella and ensure he never went too far. Now, St. Trina has been left alone in this deep hole below the dirt. They appear as a large flower growing from the ground, but a face can be seen in the petals. They are a deep purple, same as one of their lilies. I approach them, but they will not speak. They seem to be in a deep slumber. A nectar drips from a petal, and I imbibe it. This poisons me, and I pass out. In my dream, I hear their voice.
Miquella, stop. Don't turn the poor thing into a god. Godhood would be Miquella's prison. A caged divinity is beyond saving. You must kill Miquella. Grant him forgiveness.
St. Trina begs that I kill Miquella, to grant him freedom from the role he believes he must take. A role of domination, where he is a god without love. But what would he do with that power? What would make him a prisoner of himself? Ansbach said Miquella uses love to force others to do his bidding. Would Miquella force the world to be mindless slaves? Is he that cruel? Then again, if there is no world where people can make choices, then there is no violence. My friends would still have been alive. But would I have ever met them if I didn't have any motivations or curiosity? Is Miquella kind or cruel? I am unsure. But now I don't know what to believe. Is Ronnie the right fit for the world? Miquella sounds like he is planning a world of peace, but without free will. Is that better than the dark nothingness Ronnie offers? I will need time to think on my views and morals. But there will be plenty of time for that later. For now, I must heed the words of the Hornsent. I need to go to the shadow of the Erd Tree.